Hello, hello, hello. It's Crafty Chris here with another Scrap Your Scraps Thursday night. Tonight we're not doing scraps, obviously. You can see by my desktop here. I'm just doing a really quick video just to remind people how easy it is to color. I know that there are a lot of you out there that already know how to do this, but who knows? There might be somebody who is new to coloring that just happens upon this video, and I hope it helps. So I have my piece of my image that I want to color, and one thing to note is that if you're using an alcohol marker, you do not want to use an alcohol ink on your image. You need to do an ink that will not be affected by alcohol markers. And the same goes for water markers, like watercolor markers. You don't want to do a water-based ink for that because the two things will just mush up and make a mess. So anyway, what my process is when I get an image that I want to color is I pull out the pens I think I would like to use, and I just sample them to make sure they're the color that I really want. And I start always with my lightest color. Now, I have seen videos where people do their darkest color. You know what? It's kind of like adhesives. Everybody has their favorite way of doing things, right? So sorry, I'm not going to start with that. I'm going to start with my little dots, my little gold dots for the centers of the flower, because if you start with your overall color, you will find that you've lost your little dots. So I'm just going in and I'm dotting the centers of all the flowers that I can see. There are quite a number of them. On my first round, I didn't get as many as I can see now, because I was in the middle of putting the pink down. I realized, oh, just want to make sure you get all those dots in there, because you don't want to color them over, because that's what makes it look pretty. Okay, I think I got them all. If I see them when I'm coloring, then that's fine. So I decided that I was going to use this light pink that you can barely see, but you can see it in the background quite clearly here, to do my coloring in. I use my brush tip, and because I am trimming this, I am not going to be at all careful around the edges. I am going to be trimming this down to put it on a card. So I am just coloring the edges, not worrying about whether or not, except here, making a mess along the edges because I'm going to trim that off. And then I go in, and where I've put, sorry, I'm going to use my round tip now, where I've put my yellow for the centers of the flowers, I want to just highlight those with a ring of pink, so when I'm filling in the pink around it, I don't accidentally go over top of those. So you just kind of bring your attention to it. Oh, I missed one. And this is the good thing about having your pens all out, is when you miss one, you can just go back in and color it. All right, now I can go back to my brush tip, and because I can see clearly where all of my dots are, and I'm not circle coloring or anything, I'm just laying down the color in one layer. I don't want to go more than one layer. You'll find that, doing this, trying to avoid the yellow thing is really kind of a challenge. Once you get it done, it's no big deal. Okay, so that is one laying of the pink. So now we're going to go back in, and we're going to take my deepest color. So we went from my lightest color, now we're going in with my deepest color. So I just got to make sure I find the right one. And I'm going to go in with my bold tip, and I'm just going to go in all of those dark spots and add my dark color. If it's like, I would go around where it's very deep, but then I would leave the additional ones for my middle ground color. So along areas that are deep, and if there's little spiky things, I would leave the spiky things for when I color with my middle ground color. And I'm just basically following the guide of the stamp itself, where it is put in the shadow. Sometimes there's more, sometimes there's less. And again, I don't worry about going over the lines because I do know that I'm going to be fixing it up. And I'm not, worried about if it looks spiky or it doesn't look spiky. And then I'm going to pause and see if I've missed some places. And then you just kind of generally look at it to see if you kind of have it black balance across the page. I can add a little more there and maybe a tiny bit more there. That has me happy here at this point. And then I'm going to go in and I am going to take my middle color, which is this one. So let me put that over there. And again, the bold tip. And this time I'm going to go further out with the remainder of the lines. So I'm going to follow those stamped lines a little bit further, gathering a little more color, and just sketchy little wavy kind of lines. You want to keep some highlights because that's where the pink is going to go when we do our finish. Little dots, little stripes. And pull back again and look at it and see if you like what you see, if you need to add more. Sometimes you might miss a spot. Okay, there we go. All right, then once I've got my dark, my medium done, I go back to my light. And my light is going to go over the entire image with my brush and avoiding those little yellow dots if possible. So you're going to go in and I just do circles. And you can see the pink darkening up, but it's also darkening and blending everything else together. And it's also making sure that you haven't left behind any white. And you can see I've done this side, it's darker. And that all kind of gets it all blending together. You go over all the colors and just make sure that everything looks like it's been colored. And you give it a minute because the alcohol needs to kind of blend together. And so there you go. You've got your two images with the color. And the leaf is kind of the same sort of deal. I've got my three colors. I like to use usually three colors together. Sometimes I only use two. I found that this color and this color blended well together, but this one sort of just disappeared. So I think, like you can see here, that there, well, it is there. Let me retract my thinking. All right, so I'm going in, gonna do that one layer, and it doesn't have to be perfect the first time out, but you do want to try and cover. And then I'm going to go in with my dark bullet point, and I am going to go down along here because it seems to be very dark there, and a little bit in the center spine. And here there's sort of like a little bit going there. And then I'm going to take my middle color with my bullet point, and I'm going to try to grab all the other bits. And you go right over the dark that's already existing. That makes it even darker. There we go. And I'm going to color the trunk the same color. And then I get my light color and one layer again over top of everything to meld it all together. There we go. And then that gives you your 2 flowers with multiple colors. So that's it for today, and of course I just go around and trim it, and be very careful with those little bitty bits. You can do it, you just have to have patience. And then I throw that on a card, and that's it for the entire presentation for this week. Have a great week, and it is coming on the end of August, so I hope all you families are getting ready for school and an exciting fall, and we will see you. Oh, I should ask you to please share it if you enjoyed this video, and don't forget to subscribe at the end of the video, and I will see you next week. Bye.